The answer to the problem you're looking for is where you put your attention and your intention. I'm Dom Jackson, Cultivating Media, and this is 7 Day Scoop Show, my weekly show where I document my career decisions that I'm making, the adventure Prashant pursue. I use my story, my venture to help motivate you. Now, look at this test real quick. Tell me how many triangles are inside this photo. You don't have to count them right now, but just keep that in mind. Now, the biggest thing that I've learned this week in this process of getting my van car keys expressed has been attention and intention. Attention and intention. And it sounds really simple when you think about it, but coming back from California, back in St. Louis, doing what I've done, I'm performing better at a level that I was performing more at my peak. So, we had our goal to get 2,000 points each week. This week, out of that 2,000 points, I got 600 and some change. So I'm performing more the levels that I was before. Like I said, we hit that 500 to 700 point standard. That's where I need to be at. So I'm right there again. And the difference between who I was before the trip versus who I was after the trip, being back in the same location, I just caught myself doing a lot of things. So one of the things that I feel like we end up doing when we've done something enough is we can do it so you don't have to think about it anymore. But because you don't have to think about it, you go through the motions versus actually doing it. So you're doing it, but you're not doing it with intention. Because, there's times where I would pitch somebody and I would pitch them to talk to them because I have to talk to them. Like it's my job to do that. But I wasn't actually really trying to get them to buy anything or even really evolve in the conversation. I was basically a zoned out person talking to them, but I wasn't really in the conversation. And that goes back to the intention, attention. So where's my attention? My attention was in my head, wherever I was focusing on, daydreaming out, wherever I was at. Even though my action was technically still doing the job, I was going through the motions. And the results of what that showed what my sales looked like. You know what I'm saying? So even though I was doing it, I was going through the motions. So I didn't have my attention and didn't have my intention either. With that now, I can now catch myself more hey, am I actually doing this with attention, intention? And am I actually paying attention? Because being in a spot where you're just going through the motions, you're not really doing it at the level you need to do. And being able to lock yourself back in and stay present is the only way you're really going to get the result. Here's the next caveat to that. By changing my attention and my intention, now I'm paying more attention. So when I'm pitching people now, I'm also intentional. What things am I trying to learn about talking to this person? You see, now I'm looking at things at a deeper level. So I'm looking at how their eyes moving, how are they speaking, if I say this at this pace, all the little things that change based on each person interaction. I'm now more intentional because I'm giving it my attention and I have intention to watch and learn how to do what I do better. And that has been a huge shift because there's a lot of time now where I just feel myself going through the two halves and I can catch it now. Hey, do you have your attention and intention in here? Then I'm no, I don't. So get back in. It's almost like two halves of a coin. What side of the coin am I on at that point in time? And I didn't really realize how much I was on two halves until being out there, having everything be so new and the same thing, but in a different place with my intention of coming back sharper and better. I didn't realize how many times I just zone out and I was just somewhere else the whole time. So that was been a really great learning lesson to just be oh, okay, that's it. The other things that I learned this week is the importance of fighting for what you want and rebuttals. These are all things that are very popular in sales and always part of it. But with this shift, because I'm more intentional now, one of the biggest factors that we use is indifference. So it's we're not really trying to sell you. We're just trying to inform you the information, help you make the right decision. But one of my new shifts that I'm working on now that I realized I wasn't doing at the level I needed to, I wasn't intentional, is that sometimes people just need a little more help. So a rebuttal of hey, I got to think about it. before I was let that go, let them think about it. Or at least I would tell them like, hey, we'll be here this time. Just come back and make your decision. But now I'll be intentional and try to be a little deeper. Like, hey, I understand that, we also have this, this deal right here, or we'll get done in this much time. What other problems what other problems can I solve for you? And with that, I'm at least adding a little more fight. One of our principles that we use is 2 no's and a go in the 5 steps. And now I'm just like really embodying that more because I'm more intentional instead of just like going through the volume of people. Because part of what we do is about the volume of people that we talk to, but the percentage of people that you close between being like okay to good to exceptional, that last little bit to be exceptional is like you really got to be able to help the people that are getting in their own way get to the other side of the thought process to help them. And that's a bigger phase for a lot of other things because, being that attention to intention thing, like I was saying, is so big because the deeper you look at it, the more attention you pay to it with the attention of looking at the attention of trying to understand it, you can find new ways to test little things out to grow. And I am now like, okay, if I say it like this, like I'm just finding new ways to play with what I do to have it be fun again instead of just being like, okay, I can do this. Because once you've done something enough times, it's not like that hard. You know what to do. But keeping it fun and finding new ways to evolve gives that extra bit of fun. So you're like excited and fired up and keeps everything fresh. And that's the biggest thing. Now, with this triangle thing that I showed you in the beginning, if you just looked at it with like, oh, it's a triangle, with no attention, no intention, you just saw a triangle. That's one triangle. Maybe you saw the first set of triangles and you count all the little ones inside. Boom. But then like there's the triangles and the triangles and the triangles and the triangles and the triangles. And that's like the difference between the attention and intention, how deep you look at the amount of triangles inside. As you put more attention and as you put more intention in your attention, you'll be able to see the deeper levels of what you're trying to get at. And that's like what I'm looking at right now. So, when I was first pitching, I was only pitching seeing one triangle. Then I was like, all right, maybe I counted, the first set of triangles. But then seeing the triangles in the triangles, so like 3 triangles together is a new triangle in itself. And that's a new game that I'm putting together for myself with this new process, because the thing that separates the people that do very well and the people that just do it are the levels of intention, attention they put into it. So, my word of advice for today, this week, focus your attention and have intention with it, with everything that you do, and find the triangles you got to find. As always, take it one step at a time. We'll get there day by day.